Hello. Thank you, everybody who's tuning into Bristol Channel's very own 591. I appreciate you all coming and watching. I know things are very weird right now and a little sad because we're in quarantine, but we're doing the best that we can. I just want to put this out there. Please try, anybody who's out there, please try and understand that most of the precautions that we take is nothing against you. I know it's not fun being in quarantine by any measure or any means, but we really are trying our best to keep you guys safe, which is what matters to us the most. Your health and your well being is above all in terms of what we do here. So, without further ado, I've been trying to keep a little bit of normalcy here, and I know we can't keep everything the same while we're in quarantine until the 21st. But for now, I figured we could probably do some stuff over the TV. I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but we had trivia. Starting Sunday, when I come back, I will be holding exercise in the morning. We should be having some fun stuff, interesting PowerPoints and things like that over the TV. And we'll just try and keep things as easygoing as possible. So, without further ado, I have for you guys today 50s, 60s, and 70s trivia. So I hope all my trivia stars out there are ready and here. How it's going to work is that I can't have a live audience. As much as I'd love to write your name on that board that says trivia, I can't. So what you are going to do, and I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time, is get a pen and a piece of paper, pencil, crayon, I don't care. As long as you can write something down, write an answer down, I will take it. So with that, you're going to write your answer down, and then later on, I will collect them. If you got a certain amount right, I'll base it on how many questions I ask. I won't make it too tough. If you get a certain amount right, I'll come to your room with a prize box, and you can win a prize. And yes, we do have Girl Scout cookies, because I know some of you are very much looking to have some of those, and I don't even blame you. I do like having them myself. So if you're watching in a group setting, please keep your mask on, over your nose and under your chin. You already know how this goes. If you're alone in your room, you're free to do whatever you'd like. Just do not cough on anybody else. That's all I ask. Anyway, let's get this started. I hope you're all having a good day so far. I know being in quarantine isn't too fun, but we also, on nicer days, we will also have walking club going on if you like to travel around the building. Without further ado, let me get my first question started. Actually, I'm going to give it a moment just in case anybody's still looking for a pen and a piece of paper. I appreciate everyone being patient during these trying times, and I understand that kind of threw us all for a loop, but life goes on, and we're not going to stop it. Definitely not. So I appreciate everybody, trying their best and definitely doing what they can. Let's see what fun questions I've got here. Anyway, if you don't enjoy this form of activities, please let me know as well. I'm always open to criticism and things like that, but I'm just trying to bring you guys things in a way that you might enjoy them with the means that I have, since we can't have any technical organized activities at the moment, as my job is all about activities. All right, so if you haven't found a pen and a paper by now, I apologize, but I'm moving on. So we got our first trivia question going on. And this one, I hope you're going to be ready for. So we're starting out with 50s trivia. So we're going to be looking at things that happened in the 1950s. To start us off, which president of the United States was in office from January 20th, 1953 to January 20th, 1961? I'm going to repeat myself again. Which president of the United States was in office from January 20th, 1953 to January 20th, 1961? I'm going to give you guys a moment to write that down. But get a good answer for me. I hope you're all doing good. As you can see, I'm hosting this in the arts and crafts room. Please don't come into the arts and crafts room, by the way, while I'm hosting these. As much as I love to see you guys' lovely faces, I'm not wearing a mask, and it does interrupt the stream a little bit. Unless you have something important. All right, next question, number 2. So that was number 1. You can mark down 1 next to it. Question number 2. What disease did Dr. Jonas Salk successfully create a vaccine for in 1952? So what disease did Dr. Jonas Salk successfully create a vaccine for in 1952? Give you guys a moment to figure out that answer. Do not look it up on Google or any other phone device. And don't ask Alexa if you have her in your room. All right. Hope you wrote down your answer. If you're still thinking about it, I'm moving on. So, number 3. What was the name of the first satellite launched into orbit by Russia in 1957? What was the name of the first satellite launched into orbit by Russia in 1957? This special satellite threw the entire world for a loop because that was the first time that we had something sent into space. That eventually started the space race. First, who could get a man on the moon and just exploring space itself. All right, I hope you found your name. So, question number 4. For all you Disney fans out there, what year did Disneyland open? What year did Disneyland open? So I'm going to give you guys a second to think about that one. But take a moment. I know I've got a lot of Disney fans out there. If you got Mickey hung up on your walls, you're really disappointing them out here. Don't worry, do your best. All right. I'm going to move on to number 5. Which member of the royal family became head of state in Great Britain in 1953? Which member of the royal family became head of state in Great Britain in 1953? Take a moment to think about that one. Don't worry if you don't get them all or any. At the very least, you might learn something. Because I'll hand out the answer sheet later. I'm going to highlight the ones I did already. All right. So, without further ado, I'm moving on. That topic was history. Let's try for a little music. I hope that you guys are up to date on all the music that we play for you. And I hope that you get it all. So, without our first question, who sang That'll Be the Day in 1957? So who originally sang That Will Be the Day in 1957? Or That'll Be the Day, 1957. Take a moment to think about it. It might be on the tip of your tongue. Can't give any hints here. I hope you got it. All right, we're going to move into another one. What singer had a hit with 16 tons in 1955? What singer had a hit with 16 tons in 1955? Give you guys all a second to think about that one. All right, moving on. Number 8. Who recorded Rock Around the Clock in 1955? Who recorded Rock Around the Clock in 1955? Now, I wasn't around in 1955, but I hope some of you were, so I hope you get it. All right, take a moment to think about it. All right, our next one, number 9. Tony and Maria were the lead characters in what Broadway musical that premiered in 1957? Tony and Maria were lead characters in what Broadway musical that premiered in 1957? This one I have seen, but obviously not back in 1957. So take a moment to think about it. I'm sure you'll get it. All right. I'm going to pull up the next one. One second. Number 10. Which smoky-voiced singer sang Too Young in 1951? Which smoky-voiced singer sang Too Young in 1951? All right. I hope one of you got it out there. Next up, we're going to move into pop culture. So let's see if you can get these next ones. So starting us off, which aspiring rock and roll singer appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1956, but could only be shown from the waist up? Which aspiring rock and roll singer appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, but could only be shown from the waist up? I will give you a hint. He has been on the Bristol radio show. He came in for us. So the radio talk show did get to have him host one day. I can't tell you which one it was, though. That's for you to figure out and you to know. All right. Here's another weird one. We're on to number 12. Eating what type of live fish became popular in the 1950s? Number 12. Eating what type of live fish became popular in the 1950s? All right. I hope you got it. Number 13. What piece of women's clothing named after a dog became popular in the 1950s? What piece of women's clothing named after a dog became popular in the 1950s? I'll give you all a second to figure that one out. All right. And our last question about the 50s. Number 14. Which television game show first aired in 1956 and is still running today? So, number 14. Which television game show first aired in 1956 and is still running today? 2021. So, a long time to be running. Not too many game shows really make it back that far. All right. So, I think with that, we'll leave the 1950s and we'll jump an entire decade and go down to the 1960s. For those of you who may have joined a little late, the way we are doing this is that you're going to take out a pen and paper and write down the answers. I will collect them later, and if you get enough right, I'll hand out prizes. If you participate, I would love that. It'd make my entire year just to know some of you out there enjoyed this. So, we're doing 1960s now. We're jumping from the 50s to the 60s. So, starting us off with number 1 for 1960s. Who was assassinated in November 1963? Who was assassinated in November of 1963? Now, I will give you a hint. It was not me. All right. I hope you've thought about it, and I hope you got it. I'm going to move on to number 2. Who delivered the famous "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963? So, who delivered the famous "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963? Just adjusting the mic. Give you a second to think about that one, too. All right. Our next one. This is a famous case. In 1964, Jack Ruby was convicted of murdering which other accused assassin? Number 3. In 1964, Jack Ruby was convicted of murdering which other accused assassin? I'll give you a moment to think about that one too. All right, so our next question up. Number 4. What type of new telephone was invented in 1963? Give you a second. Number 4. What type of new telephone was invented in 1963? All right. I hope you're ready for the next one. We're moving on to movies. So, which actor? Oh, sorry. Number 5. Which actor won the Oscar for Best Actor for his role in 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird? Which actor won a Oscar for the Best Actor for his role in the 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird? Now, I did actually watch this movie and I very much enjoyed it. All right. Our next one on movies. This is for all you Disney fans out there. Who landed at 17 Cherry Tree Lane in a well-known Walt Disney movie from 1964? Who landed at 17 Cherry Tree Lane in a well-known Walt Disney movie from 1964? Give you all a minute to figure that one out too. All right, this next one is a little tricky if these haven't been tricky already. Number 7. Which film was the highest grossing release of 1963, yet lost money because it was one of the most expensive films ever made? So, which film was the highest grossing release of 1963, yet still lost money because it was one of the most expensive films ever made? Give you a moment for that. Keep on thinking. All right. Number 8. 1 second. I missed it. What movie in 1968 co-starred a computer named HAL or HAL. So, what 1968 movie co-starred a computer named HAL or HAL? All right. Give you all a moment to think about that one. All right. So, number 9, we're actually going to move into pop culture. We're moving away from movies. Hope you're all ready. Which icon number 9, which iconic blonde actress and rumored lover of President John F. Kennedy was found dead in her bedroom August 5th, 1962? So, number 9, which iconic blonde actress and rumored lover of President John F. Kennedy was found dead in her bedroom August 5th, 1962? I'll give you a hint. She was also seen on the radio talk show. She did make a visit. All right. So, here's our number 10. In which year did the Woodstock Festival take place? Number 10. In which year did the Woodstock Festival take place? Tori sent me a video of me yawning. If you're watching this, Tori, hats off to you. All right. Our next one up, number 11. Which product did Procter and Gamble launch in 1966 that revolutionized baby care? Number 11. Which product did Procter and Gamble launch in 1966 that revolutionized baby care? Just to let you know, I will go over all the answers at the end. Doesn't mean you can cheat later. I want to know your real answers. All right. And I think our last one for 1960s. What famous TV series debuted in 1966 with these words? Space, the final frontier. Num 1 second. 9. Number 12. What famous TV series debuted in 1966 with these words? Space, the final frontier. All right. And now we're moving into 1970s. This will be our last portion of our trivia. Hope you're all ready. We'll start out with a little history. Which president resigned in 1974 over the Watergate scandal? So, number one for 1970s. Which president resigned in 1974 over the Watergate scandal? All right, moving on to number two. Hope you got it. What war ended in April 1975 with the fall of Saigon? What war ended in April of 1975 with the fall of Saigon? Give you all a moment to figure that one out too. All right. Next up, we have number three. Paul Allen and Bill Gates founded what company in 1975? Paul Allen and Bill Gates founded what company in 1975? Now, just to let you know, this is still a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar company today. This company has definitely flourished well beyond them. All right. Our next one. Which Pennsylvanian nuclear generating plant suffered a partial meltdown in 1979? Which Pennsylvanian nuclear generating plant suffered a partial meltdown in 1979? It's number four. Doesn't sound too good. Not for 1979, at least. Angelina gave me a thumbs up, guys. She says I'm doing great.
Great job, Adam.
Yeah, it's just like my mom tells me. All right, we're on to our next one. What is the name of the deadly disease that struck a convention in Philadelphia in July 1967 and was named for the convention where it struck? Number five. What is the name of the deadly disease that struck a convention in Philadelphia in July of 1976 and was named for the convention where it struck? Apologize about getting the numbers backwards. I actually am dyslexic. All right. Giving you all a moment to write it down. Hope you got something for me. And next up, we'll move into sports. So if you were a sports fan in 1970s, good for you. You might get a few answers. So, in what park was the New York City Marathon run in 1970? In what park was the New York City Marathon run in 1970? Give you all a hint for that. A moment for that. It's number 6. All right. Next up, we have which Olympic athlete set a record in 1972 by winning 7 gold medals? So, which Olympic athlete set a record in 1972 by winning 7 gold medals? Don't mind the neck crack. That one was number 7. All right. This next one was definitely controversial for the time. Number 8. Who was the first member of the Negro League inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame? Who was the first member of the Negro League inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame? Very inspiring person. They have a wonderful movie made about them. All right. And number 9 for sports. What was first used to cover baseballs in 1975? What was first used to cover baseballs in 1975? Hope you know that one. I don't even know what covers them now. That was number 9. All right. So we'll move into pop culture, moving away from sports. Our first question here. Which video game system debuted in 1970s and featured now iconic games like Pong and Pac-Man? Might not have bought them for yourself, might have gotten it for your kids, but which video game system debuted in 1970s and featured now iconic games like Pong and Pac-Man? Give you a second to figure that one out. That was one second. That was number 10. Our next question, number 11. Who created the Muppets? Who created the Muppets? It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to get it started on the Muppet Show tonight. All right. Here's a fun one, and definitely one of my more favorite movies. Number 12. What movie from the 1970s made many people afraid to go swimming in the ocean? Mike is staring at me right now because he knows it, and he's laughing. All right. What movie from the 1970s made many people afraid to go swimming in the ocean? Donna. 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 All right. And here's our last one. Number 13. Our last question altogether. And then after that, I'll give you all the answers. But you got to be honest with what you got right. I will give most people a prize just for participating. Our last one. What was the top-selling song of the 1970s decade? What was the top-selling song of the 1970s decade? All right. So, those are all our questions. Hope you wrote them all down, and I will go over. Now I'll go over the answers. So, let's jump back into the 50s. If I can get my paper that has the 50s answer in there. I appreciate anybody who stayed to the end. In 1964, we're going. Oh no, we're in wrong one. I grabbed the wrong paper. All right, 1950s. Our first question asks, which president of the United States was in office from January 20th, 1953 to January 20th, 1961? Answer is Dwight D. Eisenhower. Next up, which disease did Dr. Jonas Salk successfully create a vaccine for in 1952? Survey says polio. After that, what was the name of the first satellite launched into orbit by Russia in 1957? Taking a look, Sputnik. Answer is Sputnik. Now we have, what year did Disneyland open in 1955? Oh, sorry. What year did Disneyland open? Answer is 1955. Messed up on that one. All right. And moving on. Which member of the royal family became head of state in Great Britain in 1953? Answer is Queen Elizabeth II. All right. Our next question. Which singer had a hit with 16 tons in 1955? Answer is Tennessee Ernie Ford. After that, which smoky voice singer sang Too Young in 1951? Answer is Nat King Cole. Afterwards, looking at Tony and Maria were lead characters in what Broadway musical that premiered in 1957? Answer is West Side Story. Next up, who originally recorded Rock Around the Clock in 1955? We're looking at Bill Haley in the Comets. And next up, who originally sang That'll Be the Day in 1957? We have Buddy Holly in the Crickets. Taking a look at our pop culture side, if you didn't get this one, I'd be very sad. Which aspiring rock and roll singer appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1956, but could only be shown from the waist up? We have Elvis Presley, Elvis the Pelvis. You remember him? He came onto our radio show. Next up, we have which television game show first aired in 1956 and is still running today? We have The Price is Right. After that, what piece of women's clothing named after a dog became popular in the 1950s? We have poodle skirt. And lastly, for our 1950s trivia, eating what type of live fish became popular in the 1950s? The answer for that is goldfish. I'm glad I'm not part of that trend. I don't think I'd eat goldfish live. All right. Now we have answers for the 1960s. So, In 1964, Jack Ruby was convicted of murdering which other accused assassin? Answer is Lee Harvey Oswald. Moving in, we're in the 1960s right now. Next up, who was assassinated in November of 1963? Our answer is President John F. Kennedy. After that, which new type of telephone was invented in 1963? We have the touch tone. I couldn't tell you what that is. And who delivered the famous I Have a Dream speech in 1963? We're looking at Martin Luther King Jr. After that, we're moving in to which actor won the Oscar for which actor won the best won the sorry, speaking too fast for myself. Which actor won the Oscar for best actor for his role in the 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird? Survey says Gregory Peck. After that, which film had the highest grossing release of 1963, yet lost money still because it was one of the most expensive films ever made? Cleopatra. Who landed at 17 Cherry Tree Lane in a well-known Walt Disney movie from 1964? Our very own Mary Poppins. After that, we have what 1968 movie co-starred a computer named HAL or HAL? 2001 Space Odyssey. After that, which iconic blonde actress rumored to be lover of President John F. Kennedy was found dead in her bedroom August 5th, 1962? Marilyn Monroe. Next up, which year did Woodstock Festival take place? 1969. The summer of 69. Good song. Which product did Procter & Gamble launch in 1966 that revolutionized baby care? Pampers. And lastly on that one, what famous TV series debuted in 1966 with these words? Space, the final frontier. We have Star Trek. All right, so up next, we're getting the answers to 1970s. I hope you've gotten a lot right so far, but if not, don't worry, because I don't even know half of them. So, starting us off, which president resigned in 1974 over the Watergate scandal? We're looking at Richard Nixon. After that, which Pennsylvanian nuclear generating plant suffered a partial meltdown in 1979? It is 3 Mile Island. What war ended in 1975 with the fall of Saigon? Vietnam. And I appreciate everyone out there who served. And Paul Allen and Bill Gates founded what company in 1975? The name of it is Microsoft, and they are still very well today. They are one of the largest producers of computers. What is the name of the deadly disease that struck a convention in Philadelphia in 1976 and was the name of the convention was named for the convention where it struck? I'm going to butcher this name. I think it's Legendnaires disease. I hope I got that. Next up, which sport athlete set a record in 1972 by winning 7 gold medals? Olympic sport athlete. We're looking at Mark Spitz. After that, who was a member of the Negro League inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame? Who was the first member of the Negro League inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame? Leroy Satchel Paige. What? Legion. Oh. Next up, what hide was first used to cover baseballs in 1975? We're looking at cowhide. And after that, in what New York City park marathon? In what park was the New York City Marathon run until 1970? And we're looking at Central Park. Following along, we have which video game system debuted in the 1970s and featured now iconic games like Pong and Pac-Man? The name of that is the Atari. Next up, what was the who created the Muppets? Jimmy Henson. Afterwards, what movie in 1970s made people afraid to go swimming in the ocean? Jaws. And lastly, what was the top-selling song of the 1970s? A very good song, which I know by heart. American Pie by Don McLean. So, thank you all for participating in trivia. If you wrote down your answers, we'll collect them later. We'll probably, at some point or another, we'll stop by your room and just let us know that you have it. Thank you to anybody who participated. I appreciate you tuning in, and have a wonderful day. So.